with Sports Act that, even though was drafted after the 2010 Constitution, never really recognizes the place of counties and devolution in terms of sports. So we have more problems than the academies. The whole architecture of sports and sports relationship between counties and national government is a big problem. For example, Mr. Chair, there is no framework for sports facilities. We constructed a stadia like the one we just did the other day in Kwale, and there is no clarity of how we are partnering between national and county government to start with. Sports academies is just a small section of a bigger problem in the Sports Act. And so there has been a process that has gone on over the years, almost 2 years or so, even before my predecessor came to office. And now we think that we should conclude this process by December. The reason why I say it by December is that when you people come back from the long recess, we should be able to submit a fairly comprehensively discussed bill, which is now going for public participation, and then we submit as a bill to Parliament, then you can process it from here. The reason why we are requesting the promoters of this amendment to wait is so that we can now capture all these things together. When it comes to sports academies, Mr. Chair, we will have to think through this bill. We think that we must think comprehensively. Why? Because for sports academies to be proper academies, they must deal with young people from 6 years to maybe at most 17, 18. Yeah? And therefore, where are these people? They are in schools. They are in either pre-primary, primary, and high school. And that's exactly where we have the proper talent. What does that mean? It means, therefore, that in the law and in the operationalization of sports academies, even from a sports ministry here, we should do more with Ministry of Education. This policy we are drafting, together with the law, should recognize the fact that the talent is situated in schools. If we are going to achieve universal education, it means that every young person should or ought to be in school. And therefore, that is where we get the talent. We need a world-class stadium in Mombasa, and not in 5 years, urgently, because we are now bidding to host various events. Today, initially the plan was one of the matches for Africa Cup of Nations should go to Mombasa. But because of the capital investment between what we are building new in Talanta and we want to do something of the same caliber in Mombasa, that was delayed. But we want in 2029 to host the World Athletic Championship. We want also to bid for rugby. Yeah. So to do so, we have to build a good stadium in Mombasa. And I think as much as we want to support counting the one in town, we need to think about, we want to expedite the one that is going to be world-class. That will be in the level of Kasarani, Talanta, and Nyayo. The other thing is that I'm sure the Bunge is aware that we are doing the Mbaraki grounds for purpose of preparation for the East Africa Games, for the Interparliamentary Games. And the government is doing that through KPA because it's a facility owned by KPA. So if that becomes ready also, it can help for the time being. But ultimately, we are happy to have that conversation with your governor. He should be able to write to us and then we can work together to see which part. Like now, Kwale County handed over part of the project to us, and we did partly. They did what they had already done before, so we completed what they had initiated. We will be happy to partner with the county government. But eventually, through this law, we will now have a framework for intergovernmental relations on sports activities and sports facilities.
That is, of course, the sports CS.